Hello friends, I Pankaj Dunka welcomes you all to this session on fluid mechanics. In the last lecture, we have derived the Euler's equation along a streamline, and at the same time from that Euler equation, with the help of certain assumptions, we developed the Bernoulli's equation. Now the assumptions which were involved in the Bernoulli's equation are that the fluid is ideal and the motion of that particular particle was happening along a streamline. That means the streamline validity of the equation is there. The flow field is steady and incompressible, and the gravity force is the only body force. Moreover, it has also been assumed that there is no energy interaction between the system and the surroundings. So, no energy is taken from the system and no energy is dissipated to the system. That's why we are saying that it is an ideal fluid. Now, the equation which we have developed last time was P by rho plus V square by 2 plus Gz. This is a constant. So this constant, this mechanical energy, which is a constant, this is a constant along a streamline for an ideal fluid. So that means if an ideal fluid is flowing, then if you draw a streamline in that particular flow field, then the mechanical energy is going to be conserved. So if a particle is at point 1 and it moves from point 1 to point 2, then the mechanical energy at point 1, so this is what, this is the total mechanical energy. So the mechanical energy at point 1 will be equal to the mechanical energy at point 2 if the flow field is ideal. Now, the question which can be asked is, okay, if the flow field is steady, if the flow field is ideal, then no problem at all. We can apply the conservation of mechanical energy or the Bernoulli's equation. But what will happen if the flow field is not ideal? Means if the fluid is a real fluid, then will we be in a situation to apply the Bernoulli equation there or not? So what will happen if the fluid is not an ideal fluid, if the fluid is a real fluid? So what will happen is, while moving from point 1 to point 2, the particle has to overcome some resistance, that is friction. And to overcome that resistance or friction, some energy, some part of this particular energy has to be given, has to be done to overcome that particular resistance. So there will be an energy dissipation. So for a real fluid, if you look, then the mechanical energy at point 1 will be more than the mechanical energy at point 2. This is for a real fluid. And the difference between these two will be the work done by that particular fluid mass against the friction while flowing from point 1 to point 2. So to write this inequality into equality, or to convert this, we have to add something to the right hand part. That means mechanical energy at point 1 equal to mechanical energy at point 2. That can only be when we consider the energy loss which happens due to friction, or the amount of work that fluid element has to do against that particular friction. So in turn, I can write this in expanded form, that is P1 by rho plus V1 square by 2 plus GZ1 will be equal to P2 by rho plus V2 square by 2 plus GZ2 and plus this term chi. This chi is what? This is the work done per unit mass of the fluid element against the friction in flowing from point 1 to point 2 along that particular streamline. And we have also discussed that when we talk of real cases, we don't consider energy per unit mass. We always consider it in terms of head. Okay, so from that perspective, we divide this whole equation by g, so that it becomes energy per unit weight, which is nothing but the head. So this is P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1 will be equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2 and plus chi by g. So what is chi by g? It is the work done per unit weight of the fluid element in moving from point 1 to point 2, which is basically done against the friction. So what we say this chi by g as a head loss due to friction, that is HL. So instead of writing this chi by g every time, we will be simply writing HL. So let us write this. So this plus HL, head loss due to friction, and this head loss due to friction is the work done against the friction per unit mass, work done against the friction per unit weight, that is chi by g. Now a pertinent question comes to our mind, and that is, we all know energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. This is the first law of thermodynamics. Then why we are calling the energy loss? So we are calling this energy loss not in terms of total energy, but in terms of mechanical energy only. While flowing from point 1 to point 2, if you deploy a thermocouple here and try to measure temperature, let us say T1, and you deploy thermocouple here and try to measure the temperature here, T2, then while flowing from 1 to 2, you will be observing that T2 is more than T1. So in terms of mechanical energy, this is a loss. But in terms of total energy, what is happening? Some part of the mechanical energy which is there at point 1 is being converted into internal energy of that particular fluid while it arrives at point 2. Okay. So in terms of mechanical energy, this is a loss. But when we talk in terms of total internal energy, total energy of the system, no, it will be the same. Energy there at point 1, energy at point 2 will be the same. But mechanical energy at point 1 will be more than the mechanical energy at point 2. And the loss in this mechanical energy is nothing but the energy which the system has to do to overcome the friction. So friends, in terms of mechanical energy, we always call it a loss. But when it comes to the total energy, that this loss becomes the change in internal energy. So in this lecture, till this point only, in the next lecture, we will be developing Reynolds transport theorem, a very important theorem when it comes to fluid mechanics or any transport mechanics. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, then please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Take care.